Hey guys, so I've been away from YouTube for quite a while, but that gave me a pretty good chance to continue to gather evidence, or or uh, or or to tell you actually what works for me. Over the last 8 months, I just went back. I'm recording this on August 4th. Uh, when I went back yesterday into my notes that I had in January. January was a big cutoff point for me where I said, no more of the old story. It absolutely has to be laid to rest, finally. And I have to be able to move on with this without the old story, just basically haunting you or kind of like living in that shadow. And so I was able to snap out of a really bad time by the time January hit, or actually by the end of December, and it was pretty crazy. It took me about a week to finally lay it down and start to build the greatest year of conscious manifesting I've ever had. And the joy for me is to be able to come and share this with other people, to hopefully help people who, they say, like, don't bounce from this content creator to the next and then the next. They say don't do that, that's bad, and I agree with that, but sometimes there is something. Now, that not to keep anybody searching, but there are some times where you hear something and it really sets something off in you, or it adds to your toolbox. And this is the first year where I've actually encountered this in great detail. I don't know if I previously said this in this video, but I wrote a list down in January just looking back on that mindset, because I kind of felt like I was falling off, but it was just a resurgence of fog from a while back. And I was just exhausted, and that's kind of a point that I want to make today, is dropping the 3D. One of the big tools, I do want to say this too, so I kind of fell in a fog where I was like, I should be good, like, you have to say I am good, but it was like, I just kind of felt like I should be good, but like, I feel like I've been too much in this fog and invested too much in the intrusive thoughts and things like that. So I've snapped out of that and got right back on track after 4 years of I would say 3 years of just slowly getting myself together from just an absolutely wrecked nervous system and all that. It was pretty bad. But this year alone has taught me more than I've learned in the last 3 years, because I finally slowed down and approached it with such a tenacity that, I can't look at things like I used to, Anyways, so I'm going to get to the point here. Dropping the 3D and leaving the old stories behind and building that toolkit is the absolute most important thing here, in terms of, having the skill set to, I hate to say get what you want, but that's the best way to put it, is to receive in a timely manner, and without any of the fear, doubt, or any of the other bad things, that may come with the frantically trying to get movement. So my toolbox this year has been absolutely, I had the arsenal fucking built up. My arsenal was, it still is. And you got to understand too, I want to throw this out there real quick. If you have a long period of time where you're like on it and you know it, and you maybe have like it's like you have some down times within a period of good times, in your imagination and how there's not much dissonance, there's not much resistance, or any, um, uh, that's when things really start to move. Um, and so, like I said, I went back and I had this list, um, that I made in January. I was pissed off with the old story. I had heard enough. I definitely had seen enough. I was like, I'm over this. Something's has to change. It's not maybe it'll change. No, it's like, no, it's going to change right now. And I just got so relentless on the new story that I literally bullied the old story into submission. I beat it to submission, because I knew that was the way to proceed with the things that I wanted. And I have to tell you, as we're a little more than halfway through the year, I have been able to check off most of the things from that list, which is kind of insane. I don't think I've ever had that too much. I've had things on the list that lined up with things that actually happened. It's pretty crazy. So, the main thing that I want to say over the last 8 months that really, it really allows you to be like on it and to clear any fog, or to just absolve the fog. Like, you don't have to deal with the fog. Is telling myself, whenever you would have like a intrusive thought, or you would have a thought that was like uncomfortable or something, or like, oh shit, I don't want that to happen, and you may start to, no, you just say, oh, that's the old self. The old self is the one that wants to throw these thoughts at me, that's going to self-sabotage my, the things that I really want to experience in this life. And once you kind of become aware of that, and you're like stepping back from it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's the old story, you like label it immediately, like under a blanket label, which is the old self. It's not relevant. You are, there was one thing also, that, I heard somebody use this analogy of like, filming a movie. And you think about like the reel-to-reel movies back in the day. Everything you say and everything you think, and I have to add to this, not everything you think, but it's the thoughts that you are agreeing with in one way or another. All of that is going on the film, and the reels are they're always moving. They don't stop. The movie's always being recorded, right? And I remember when I was at work, that's usually either the time where you can build yourself up. This is in my experience, maybe not for yours. Everybody's got to figure out their own way to do this, and kind of like remain in the state, or just kind of put a background process up where you're doing this just basically on autopilot and dealing with your day to day. That's probably the most powerful way to do this. Well, I got to the point where I was so tired of it that I literally would look at the clock, and I would say, okay, when the clock hits 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever time, right? And I would amp myself up before it, and it was real fun. Like, I have I have a job where I can go an entire day without talking to somebody. It's a 10-hour day. And so I would take the liberty to look at the clock, right, and kind of like hype myself up and get excited for it. And when the clock would hit that time that I had previously stated, I would just rampage on the inside, right? I would do my job, right? My job's pretty mindless, I guess you would say, but it's a well-paying job. So it's very easy for me to do things like this while maintaining, a good job. So yeah, and I would just think of that reel to reel. And basically, like I said, like everything you're thinking, everything you're saying, I went ham on the self-concept. I went absolutely berserk on the self-concept in January. I finally had let go of the thing that I think was, I wanted, right? and I had obsessively thought about for a long time, but my mind just couldn't fully make it compute. It's crazy. Just when they say letting go is actually what is going to bring in your manifestation, what you're letting go of is the old story. That was another realization a while back that helped me out quite a bit, because you're like, wait, let go of what I want. It's like, no, that's the point. You're letting go of the old story so you can have what you want in your own inner space. So basically, I was able to finally throw away the old story once I started really, I mean, like every day, like there was literally a whole hour where I rampaged. I'm not saying you have to do this, but I will say, if you want to amp yourself up, that's a really good way to do it. And if you're in the manifestation game, then that's also like the best thing you could possibly do. And my self-concept got so high that after, well, I say high like it's, geographic, but I was just so well off in my self-concept that I was able to come back, and without I had my toolbox set up, I had my self-concept that I was just always peddling. When I came back to affirm about that other thing, if I had an intrusive thought, it was very, very small. I mean, it was almost on mute, and it was laughable, and I could look past it so quick and easy. It was like no resistance, and just cleared resistance. Believe it or not, by taking my focus off of OCD affirming for that thing that I wanted for so long, once I stopped doing that and just went crazy on the self-concept and had fun with it and felt good about myself, that's when things really started to pick up on the inside. I mean, I was feeling things I hadn't felt in years. It was pretty incredible, and it just proved to me that this discipline does work. Excellent. Like, my inner voice was just on point all the time. I was having fun. And I finally got to rebuild myself from a very calm state. Now, I do yoga nidra too, and I would not recommend against it at all. Some people say you don't need nervous system work. Look, if you beat yourself up for fucking years and you really had like just some nervous system shit going on where like you literally feel ill constantly all day, every day, and then maybe you might have a good moment. After a couple of years of that, I mean, you kind of need to like, you can naturally recover from it, but to expedite your time, it's best to do nervous system work. And I'll talk about that some other time. But just dropping the old story via the self-concept work and using my toolbox and just saying like, nope, that's the old self. Nope, that's the old stuff. Deny it. Just absolutely deny it. It's bogus. It's not real. You know what's going on because you've stepped back and you're looking at the thing that you want over here. And then you're looking at the old self, and you get to categorize each and every experience. And even if you don't catch yourself in that moment, you can go, oh yeah, that thought that I had 2 minutes ago, that was total bogus. And then you can categorize it. But yeah, and I guess that's basically all I want to say. I'm going to talk more about building that manifestation toolbox. I'm still building a case for it, but I have to say, once again, after that work, and I sustained that for 5 or 6 months, legitimately, and sometimes I was more dense in the 4D. I want to talk about density at some point too. I was so dense in the 4D that it was overlaying my 3D, and I've had like physical sensations and things like that, like sensory details come through in like meditations and stuff like that. And just in general, like I'd just be doing yoga nidra on my lunch break, and I mean, it was unreal. It was an unreal time. And, just good stuff. So anyways, I do want to throw it out there. I'm building a link tree right now. I'm going to get links so I can start booking calls with people. I want to talk to people about this. I want to hear other people's experiences. I want to help people and, tailor some good advice for specific people's lives and what they would like to achieve, and just answer any general questions too. So like I said, I'm going to build a link tree. I should have it built by the time that I post this video, and I'll be able to schedule out basically a consultation, and then start doing the real thing where we actually really workshop some of these things or patterns. And so yeah, I'm assuming I'll have it done by the time I post this, so just check in the link in the description below, and I'll see you next time.